Good afternoon, people. I didn't make a video now for quite some time, but I did plan to do a lot of marking of the statistics online tests, and I still have a lot of marking. But I have decided this morning to give you another chance to do the car loan assignment or online tests. Because when we did the car online test, these were manual marking online tests. That means you couldn't see your marks or your score while doing the online tests. So I've decided to give you another chance before the end of June. That means before the end of this semester. Of course, there will be more online tests next term as I plan, but remember the future is not always so predictable as we want it to be. So I've decided let's do it now, and then I give you three chances. That means I give you three online tests, which of course interest rate differences. The price of the car will be different. It will be a different type of car. It will be a different term, but the questions will more or less be the same. And if you understand the principle, and you get 100% for the one online test, you should get 100% for the other online test too, unless you become too confident and you make simple mistakes. So I'm going to take you through one online test that you have done over the past few weeks. It's about, I think, a Volkswagen online test. And I think that one may give you it may be a good example. If I'm lucky, I may make another video. Let me clean my throat. The reason why my throat is not clean is because of the weather changes, but also I did not talk very in a long time uh, on a video. So in a video, you must have your throat clean. But if you talk to people informally, then you can just talk. Okay, let me tell you or show you what my plan is. For now, I think I should be able to do one in completeness. So the card that I am interested in is that one. Okay, so I'm going to take you through this one step by step, and I will try to, I don't know how long it's going to take, say a maximum of 1 hour. And I'm maybe doing it in one video. It will be nice if it's one video because then you can see it can be done in one sitting. Okay. The most not difficult, the question that you will spend most of your time with is question one. Question one is the main question. Once question one is done properly, it should give you a good idea as to what you will obtain for the other online test. That means good marks. But if you make a mistake with question one, you're most likely going to get 0% with the others. This is an automatic mark online test, meaning you can see the score after one attempt. You're still going to get 3 attempts. After the first attempt, you will see your score. So let us do this online test as a class exercise, but it was an online test. Let me see, when was it due? It was due the 12th of April 2026, this year. So it was manual score, but the three online tests that I've decided to give you an extra chance with will be automatic scoring, meaning that you can see your scores immediately, but I also benefit from it in the sense that I don't have to mark it. Blackboard is going to mark it for me and for you. So it's win-win for both of us, and hopefully you will do it in order to improve your scoring. Okay, I will tell you how the scoring will work soon in the next few days. And I don't think it's going to be tonight. I need to make sure that what I say is clear. and correct, so that you know what is expected of you over the next few weeks. Okay. It's more than a month. I think it's about 2 months. No, it's more than 2 months. Because then it's still half of May left, then the full of June, that's 1.5, then the full of July, and most likely a big part of August as well. Okay, let's do it. Here's the online test. There's your 3 cars as it is in the website. There's your website. You can click on it and you can see the price of these cars. If it didn't change yet, then that will be the prices. By the times price of cars usually change over the months. I think sometimes at least once a year the price of cars do change. Okay, so I'm gonna now open my Excel and I have created a template. So there's my template and I already prepared my template and there's my answers. I will also show you the answers. I have a formula that I've designed. So if I click on here, you can see there's your formula. So the formula will tell you what the answer is to that question. You're not going to show me the calculations. You're going to show me the answer. So at the end, I'm going to show you what the answers are for those 14 questions. Okay, so we are ready. I am going to start with number 1. Let me split this page. I'm going to do the calculations on the right hand side and I'm going to do the car on the left hand side. So let me make the questions more clearer or bigger and then I do the calculations. So remember, you're not supposed to touch column A nor D if you use a template. And please use a template. It just makes life easier for both you as well as me. Because if you need to create the questions, you may mess up the question numbers and then you may mess up the answers as well. Let the computer do column A and column D, and you put emphasis on B and C. Okay, let's see how much time do I have. I have just more than 1 hour left. Okay, so I'm ready. Here's the car. The main car is this one. These are the different models of that car. That means a Ford Tiger. There are 3 with 3 different prices. I don't know what the price of the car is that I must use, but there's the picture of the car that I must use. Okay, this is the main picture. It tells you it's a Volkswagen Tiger R-Line. R-Line, and you can see there are 3 Volkswagen Tigers. Only one of them is a R-Line. That one there. Okay, so that means that's gonna be the price of the car. It's gonna be 581,500. Okay, that's the price of the car. Let's zoom in to see whether that's true. 581,500, yes. You see, when you split the screen, then a part of the screen becomes smaller. And that's why I like to, I often when I do the calculations here, if I'm not making a video, then I make sure that my screens are rather 2 screens, not one screen on a split screen. Because the bigger the screen, the more I can see. And when it comes to numbers, you must see it properly. Then I'm going to make that money by pressing Control and Shift and dollar. Control and Shift and dollar. Okay. So which means I press Control and Shift and I look for dollar above the number 4. Okay, there. And that's going to be the price. That's going to be the price. Okay. Now I know the price of the car because the picture shows me which car it is. If the picture did not show you, then there must be something written here that tells you which car it is. Maybe there's a manual car and there's an automatic car, but the picture doesn't say it's manual or automatic. So in the question it will state that is a manual car or the automatic car that you must consider. The next one I will say they will buy the car at the end of November. Now November has 31 days. Now I'm going to make a deliberate mistake by writing 31 November. I usually tell the people my birthday, if they want to know my birthday is on the 31st of November. And many people believe me. Really, they believe me. They don't even check the calendar. They believe it. I remember one year, at the end of last year, the beginning of November, one of the students, the top student of last year, wished me a happy birthday for the end of November. And I asked her, you mean the 31st of November? She said yes. But she was a top student. So you can see you can be the top and still struggle with numbers. Okay, so now I'm going to press enter. So you can see when I press enter, the computer doesn't recognize it as a date because the date is wrong. It's not the 31st. There is 31 days in November, not 31. So I now need to take the one out and make it a 0, and I press enter, and the computer will now recognize it. Can you see how clever the computer is? Even when it comes to dates, like February, if I say 29 as February 2026, the computer is not going to recognize it. But if I say 29 February 2028, it does recognize it. Look at it. If I press 29 February 2026, it doesn't recognize it. But 29 February 2028, it recognizes it. So if I press enter, you see what happens. The computer is clever to know this year is not a leap year, and therefore it's not 29 days, it's 28 days. So if I double click, take the 9/8 out and make it 8, then it recognizes it. So you can see Excel is powerful. So now I'm going to just move down, press Control squiggle to take the formatting out. So I wrote now 30 November, and that's the date that I bought it. Okay. Now all the dates should be at the end of the month, and that one so happened to be there at the end of the month. So there's no need to change it. But look at the next one. They say, and the payments will start at the start of the start of March. So the start of March is 1 March 2027. And will it accept it? Yes, it will accept it. But that's not the right date to be used. I must use a date that's at the end of the month because all the payments should be at the end of the month. So now I must change that date so that it becomes the end of the month without changing really the date. So now I need to understand how accounting works. Accounting, they say the date at the end, the balance at the end of a month is the same as the balance at the beginning of the previous. Let me read again slowly. The balance at the end of a month is the same as the balance at the beginning of the next month. Let me do it in the reverse order. The balance at the beginning of a month is the same as the balance at the end of the previous month. So if I want to change that date to the end of a month without really changing the date, then it must be the end of yesterday. So I must say equal to, click on that one, and I say -1. And that gives me the end of a month. So that means the beginning of the 1st of March is the same as the end of February 2027. And now I'm going to write the first payments. Okay, done. Now there's another one that you did not consider, but I'm going to do it now so that you can see, but I must make changes now there. I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to show you changes need to be done there. Now they say the deposit is 10%, the balloon payment is 40%, and the interest rate is 13%. Okay, now I need to write next to it what it is. So that's deposit, that's balloon payment, and that's your interest rate. And I don't have to even say rate, because from the percentage you can see it's the rate. If it was money, you can see from the money it's interest the amount. So there's a difference between interest amount and interest rate. There's a difference between balloon rate and the balloon amount. There's a difference between the deposit rate and the deposit money. So when it's a percentage, we know it's the rate. When it's money, you know it's the amount. Okay. Now we need to come to the term. The term is 6 years. So that's 6 years. So you can see that there's something wrong. So you press Control Shift squiggle or tilt. And then you put the 6 back again. Okay. And then I write now term. And I like to put it in years. So I have to say YERS. Now, did I write everything that I need to write according to what I see in that paragraph of 4 rows? I can see it's everything done. But now I need to take whatever I have here to make more sense out of it. First of all, I need to change, and it doesn't have to be the first one, but I like to make my deposit rate to be deposit money. So I click on the rate and I multiply it by the price. Okay, how did I get the price again? It was the R line, according to the picture, it's R line, and there are 3 cars. The only car that's an R line car is that one. So that's how I got to the price. Now that's your deposit, but this time it's a deposit money. So can I maximize it? The balloon payment is the next one. You click on the balloon rate and you multiply it by the price. And then next to it, you write down balloon. Now I have converted the deposit and the balloon rates to money. But I cannot convert the interest rate to money, at least not yet, because that can change. It's not a lump sum amount. The deposit is a lump sum amount, in other words, it's one amount paid at the beginning of the term, and a balloon payment is one amount that you pay at the end of the term. So deposit is at the beginning on the first day, the balloon payment is at the end on the last day. Now the next part is the deposit is something that leaves your pocket. But the money, the price is what is supposed to come into your pocket if you borrow that money. But you're not going to borrow that money. You're going to borrow that money minus the deposit, because the deposit must come from your pocket, not the bank. So you press equal to, click on the price minus the deposit. And then next to it, you write down price minus deposit, not delayed. Okay? So what do I mean by not delayed? It means that is your amount that you're going to borrow from the bank on that first day that you bought the car. You're not going to borrow 581,000. That's not what you're going to borrow. You're going to borrow 523,000 because 58,000 must come from your pocket and the rest you're going to borrow. Now, that is not delayed, meaning that is before you delay the payment, before you buy and not pay the payment, the car. But the car was bought at the end of November. You really started to pay at the end of February. So which means you did not pay the car immediately. You delayed the payment. In other words, you drove the car without paying for the car, except for the deposit. So we need to find out how many months did you miss the payments that you were supposed to pay. Not miss because you purposefully, or let me put it, illegally. There was an agreement. The bank agreed that you are allowed to drive the car without paying for that much. So you say equal to, the name of the function is datedef. You must open it manually. Then you click on the date that you bought it, comma. Then the date that your first payment is always the end of the month. It's always the end of the month. So you don't click on the 1st of March, you click on the end of February, comma, and then you tell the computer you want the answer to be in months. And months start with an M. And M is a letter, not a number. So you must say quote, and then M, and then unquote. Then close the bracket. Now that doesn't give you the answer of the number of months that is delayed. That only gives you the number of months between those two dates. That's not what you want. You don't want the number of months between those two dates. You want the number of months that you were supposed to pay, but did not pay. So you need to say -1. And you press enter. Now you can see the number is not in the format that it's supposed to be. It must be a number, not a date. So you press Control Shift squiggle. Squiggle is that thing next to the 1. Okay? The more um, formal word for it is tilt. Tilde. But I like the word squiggle. Of course, squiggle can also mean something else. When we come to graphs, you will see what also squiggle means. Now, according to this, you delayed it by 1 month. But let's look at the calendar. Let's suppose we bought a car on the 30th of November. I'm going to write it now here. And then 2026. Let's see. It's there. Now I'm gonna write the next month. So the next month is EO month, and you click on there and you say comma 1. So that's 1 month later. Then I want this thing also to be in months, so I take that one and I go to the clipboard and I click on that paintbrush and I click on that number so that it becomes also a date. Can see? Now I drag it down and I wait till this the 28th of February. Can see that. Now I bought it on that date. That's the date I bought it. And that's the date I start paying. So if I bought it on that date, that in November, and I start paying the 28th of February, then how many months did I delay the payments? That means how many months was I supposed to pay, but did not pay? And if you look at it, I was supposed to pay December, but did not pay. I was supposed to pay the end of January, but I did not pay. So, which means I delayed it by 2 months. But the formula says 1 month. So I need to do something that many of you did not do. If you do this calculation, you must always check manually whether the answer is correct or not. In this case, you can clearly see the answer is not correct from the manual calculations. But from the calculations, the formula, it's supposed to be correct. So why is it not correct? The reason why is the two dates must include the same day of the month. In other words, both must be 28 or both must be 30. Now, can I make February 30? No. But I can make November 28. So let me show you. If I make November 28, so that both dates have the same day of the month, then you look at what the answer is not going to be if I press enter. Do you see? The correct answer. So you must make sure that the date or the day of the month for both dates must be the same. So if the one is 31, the other one must also be 31. If the one is 30, the other one must also be 30. It must be the same day of the month. If you cannot make the one 31, then you must make it the same as the other date. Both 30 or both 28, but it must be both the same day of the month. And you can see it works. Now that I've done that, now I must find out what is the price of the car after 2 months of not paying. Remember, if you're not paying, the bank is going to accumulate interest. That means it's going to increase the interest. So you need to now look at what's going to be the price of the car 2 months later. So you take the FV, the rate is 13%, then divide by 12. The interest rate in South Africa is compounded monthly generally, which means you divide by 12. Then comma, then the number of periods, which in this case, I want to know what's the price of this car after the 2 months of delay. That means after the months of delay, not paying. So you click on the 2, and you don't have to multiply it by 12 because that's not 2 years. That's 2 months. So it's already in months. Then comma, for that 2 months you did not make any payments. So that means your PMT is 0. Comma. And then the PV is the amount of the price minus the deposit not delayed. That's that amount. But I want the answer to be positive, so I'm going to make that number negative so that the answer is positive. And this amount is going to be higher than 523, not millions of money more, but it's going to be more because of 2 months of not paying. So you press enter, you can see the price of the car. That means your installments will not be based on 223,000. It will be based on it will not be based on 523,000. it will be based on 534,000 because of the 2 months of not paying. So that thing about buying now and paying later is not your friend unless you are forced to do that. Let's say I must go to a funeral in Australia and I must go there now, but I don't have the money maybe. Then I can ask SAA or British Airways or any airways that I'm going to use to allow me to go to that country for the funeral and pay later. But the later means your interest is going to be accumulated now. That means I'm going to pay now more than I would have paid if I just paid before the funeral. Now the name of this answer is price minus deposit delayed. So now you most likely know what, how do you spell delayed? I think like that. So now you know why I said not delayed there, but delayed here. Meaning that is your price minus deposit without any delays, but this is your price minus deposit after 2 months of delay. So that means you now owe the bank, what is that? 11,000 more. 11,000 more because of that 2 months of delay. So that is what happens with money. You're going to pay for a service that was rendered to you, but you did not pay for it. Okay. That is not the answer. The question was determine the monthly installment. So now I'm ready to find the monthly installment, and the formula is PMT. So all the things are now in place. Now I can do it. The rate is 13% divided by 12, comma. The number of periods is that how many years? 6 years. Multiply by 12. Because I'm not going to pay every year. I'm going to pay every month. So in 6 years, I'm going to pay 12 times 6. Then comma. Then your PV is your beginning value, which is that value now that I worked out, because remember that amount is after the 2 months of delay, but still at the start of the 6 years. That amount is after the 2 months of delay, but still at the start of the 6 years. Okay, now comma, and then the EV. EV is at the end. Now the value that you must pay at the end is the balloon payment. And you're going to pay it, so it's negative. It's leaving your pocket. And you click on the balloon payment. And there is your monthly installment on this card. Done. So that is the question that will take the longest. Let me remove this thing and click on there and double click on there so that I have more space below. Okay. So I've done now number 1. Now number 2. Redo number 1, but this time determine the monthly installment if the balloon payment is 0. So I'm not going to highlight this answers. So I press Shift and Control and the arrow down. Look at it. My fingers are still on Shift and Control. But now I leave the control button. I leave the control button and then I move the arrow to the right. Let me show you on my keyboard. Let's see if I can bring the keyboard up. There's it. Okay. So I'm going to click on there. Then I put my finger on Shift and Control. Can see there? And the arrow that goes down. But now I need to let go of the control button. Let go. Can see it's gone, but my finger is still on Shift. And then I move to the right, so that I have the information and the answers. Remember, column B and C are the only 2 columns you can play with. And now I let go of everything, and I press Control and C. And I go next to 2, and I press Enter. And there, 8,585 must appear at the bottom for question 2. But question 2 say, the balloon payment must be 0. So what I do is I make the balloon payment 0, but not the money part. I make the percentage part 0. So if I click on the balloon percentage and I make it 0, and then what will happen if you take the balloon payment out? It means you're going to pay more per month. Let's see if it's true. The one, it's 8585. Let's see what it will be now. It's going to be 107. So it's going to be much more. So if you're not taking the car with a balloon payment, it means you're going to pay more per month. Meaning that the purpose for many people of the balloon payment is so that you can pay less per month, which can be a false belief that you can afford a car that you really cannot afford. Let me explain. If you buy a car with a 40% balloon payment, that means 40% of the price of the car you need to pay at the end of the 8 years or 6 years. That means the other 60% you're going to pay. Now your monthly installment is going to be much less. As if that's the price of the car per month. But it's not true. Because at the end of your term, you still have to pay that lump sum of 40%. Now, 40% is a lot. Look at what is it here. In this case, it's for 40%. Yes, it's 40%. The balloon amount is 232,000 that you have to pay a lump sum. That means in one go. Now, what some people believe, they know they cannot afford it now. But remember, the term is 6 years. Now they believe in 6 years' time they will have the money. But remember, that on its own can also be false belief, because we don't know the future. Things can come up that you didn't plan. Doesn't matter how good you are with saving money, things can come up, like funerals, sicknesses, accidents. These things can happen, and these things can put you off. So sometimes it's good not to buy a car with a balloon payment and just buy a normal car that you can afford. So which means if things go wrong at the end of the term of the car, then you don't have to worry, because you didn't sign up for a balloon payment. Because what happens in a case like this, when this car now comes to the end 6 years, and this person doesn't have the money, then the person have to borrow the money again in order to keep the car. Otherwise, sell the car so that you have the balloon amount available. But then, can this person live without a car? So you can see you need to, when it comes to money, there's a lot of thinking that goes into place. And it's not always about right or wrong. It's not always about right or wrong. It's personal. When it comes to money, it's personal. Like, I don't have a swimming pool because I don't need a swimming pool. But my neighbor may have a swimming pool because that's important for my neighbor. But it's not important for me. So it's not about right or wrong. It's about what we need. And of course, then it's also about who you marry. Because the person whom you marry may want a swimming pool, and you don't want a swimming pool, but you have only one salary in that house. So it's a lot of stress if the values are so different. That's why they say the best person to get married to is a person that has similar values than you have. Otherwise, it's going to be a stressful moment. Okay, so there we got now the answer of number 2. Let's go to the answer of number 3. Redo question 1, but this time assume that C does not delay a first payment. So I'm going to now copy question 1, because that's what they asked. Copy, Control, Shift down, take the Control finger off, and then just keep the Shift, and now press Control C, and now go to question 3. Press Enter, and remember this time, they say C is not going to delay a first payment. So which means that 2 will become 0. Now what will happen if you're not delaying your payments? It means the bank is going to get the money back sooner. And when the bank gets the money back sooner, it means the bank is not going to charge you unnecessary interest, meaning your amount that you owe the bank then is going to be lower. Let's see if it's true. If I put a 0 there, press Enter, you can see it's lower. Not much lower. It was 8585. It is now 8356. So it's lower because of not delaying the payments. Okay, number 3 is done. Let's come to number 4. Number 4 say, redo question 1, but this time the installment must be n minus 1 payments. N minus 1 payments. So I must go to question 1 again, copy, and put that next to question number 4. Okay? Now it must be n minus 1. Now I mustn't change anything there. I must rather add something to the bottom. So I must find the beginning value of the balloon payment. So remember, the balloon payment is due after 6 years. But after 6 years, you have already finished the payment according to this new rule. Because the new rules say you're going to make the payments n minus 1 payments. What is 6 times 12? Is 72. 72 minus 1? 71. So after 71 payments, your last payment is in, but your balloon payment is still in the 72nd month. So the first thing is you need to bring the balloon payment to the front by finding the beginning value. So you take the rate, divide by 12, comma, the number of periods you're gonna, but the balloon payment is 6 years later, times 12, because everything is in months, comma, a balloon payment is one amount. So that means there's no PMT. And PMT is regular payments. And then I want my future value, but I want my present value to be positive. So I must make the future value negative. So I make it negative, and my future value, of course, is going to be the balloon. Because remember, another name for future value is end value. Press enter, and that's the beginning value of the balloon. Beginning value. So that means if I want to pay the balloon at the beginning of the year, then I must pay 170,000. 107,000. Otherwise, I must pay 232,000 6 years later. So that is your PV of balloon. Okay. Now I'm going to deduct this present value. Remember, the balloon is the money that goes out. That amount is the money that I'm going to borrow, which means it's going to come into my pocket. So in and out means must be subtracted from each other. So you take the amount, the price minus the deposit, delayed, minus the beginning value of the balloon payment. So now it's on the same day. Remember, the beginning value, the PV is the beginning value, and that's also the beginning value of the amount that I'm going to borrow. Press enter, and there I have now, what is this? This is the price minus deposit, delayed, minus the present value of balloon. So now the balloon amount is included in this thing. It's included in this amount. So now I'm going to find out what is your installment, because that's what they're asking. The question is read to question 1, meaning I must find the installment, but with n minus 1 payment. Now, if I'm not going to make my payments over 72 months, but I'm rather going to make it over 71 months, 1 month less, then it means my monthly payment is going to be higher. Because remember, if I want to settle my debt, but I want to settle it sooner, then it means I must pay more per month. So let's do it. The name of the function is PMT, the rate is 13%, divide by 12, comma. Number of periods, I'm now going to make a deliberate mistake to show you how I do it. So I'm going to say 6 multiplied by 12, comma, and then my beginning value is now this amount, remember? Because all this amount is now at the beginning of the 6 years. Now there's going to be no balloon payment, because the balloon payment is included now in that 427,000, because I said it, price minus deposit, delayed minus present value of balloon payment. So now I press enter, and when I press enter, I'm going to get the same answer as what I got there. Can you see? Same number. But that is not supposed to be. I'm supposed to get a bigger number. So remember, I'm not going to pay 6 years and 12 months per year. I'm going to pay 71 months. So what I'm going to do is I double click, and where I had the 6 times 12, after the 12, I must say minus 1. Because I'm going to pay over 71 payments. And when I do that, and I press enter, you can see my installment is going to be higher. And there you can see my installment is higher. Because I'm going to pay over 71 months and not 72 months. Now, some banks do work on this principle. And I keep on forgetting to find out which banks they are. There are banks that allows you to pay over the 6 years, and your last payment is on at the end of the 6 years. Now, the downside of that is it means when your balloon payment is due, you still have to make your last payment also that month. That means it's a lot of money. Whereas other banks say, let's not do that. Let's let the person pay the last payment 1 month before the end. And let the balloon payment be the only amount that's due at the end, which is what I'm now calculating here. So now you know the amount that you have to pay when your last payment is due on the last day, which is 8585. But if your payment is now, the last payment is due 1 month before that, then it means you must pay 8665.31 every month. And then you don't have to pay anything. You don't have to pay an installment in the 72nd month, except for the balloon payment. Okay, number 4 is done. Number 5. Redo question 1, but this time determine the monthly installment if the payments were made 1 month in advance. 1 month in advance. So that means I must copy question 1 again, and I put it next to question 5, and now I must pay 1 month in advance. So the way to do it, you just double click on that last answer. You can see it's 8585, but that means all your payments are made at the end of the month. Now I'm going to calculate what is your payment at the beginning of the month. Instead of paying at the end of the month, you pay at the beginning of the month. So if you pay at the beginning of the month, it means you're going to make your payments 1 month in advance, before it was due. Now if you make your payments in advance, it means you pay less. So let's double memorize it. 8585. So if I now make it at the beginning of the month, double click, take the last bracket out, and say comma, and then you can see there's beginning. And you press tab, and you press enter, and you can see now the payments are much less per month. Per month. Not much less, but it's less. So in other words, you save on interest. The question now, is this worth it? Let's see how much are we saving. So if I now take this amount and I say minus, and I click what the amount is supposed to be, that one, and you can see I'm saving 92 Rand and 1 cent every month by paying 1 month in advance. The question is that worth it? Is that worth it? Now, the answer is not yes or no, because remember, money is personal. Money is personal. It depends on what matters to you. Because that 92 Rand may be needed for something else. You don't want to have no debt, but also no food on the table. I mean, I know people, they have their savings fixed in some account, but then they struggle to do the basics. They struggle with basic food because their money is fixed. So sometimes it's best to rather consider the necessities and then work on how to do the other things in a way that one can agree with the bank how to solve it. So the rich people sometimes are not so rich as we think they are. They also have debts. I mean, I listen now today about some of the issues that Donald Trump is facing, personal issues with money. And it shows that rich people are not rich as we think they are. They also borrow money, and sometimes their net worth is not based on what they have in their pocket. It's rather the value of the things that they have. And then it's not even things that's paid off. Okay, so let's come to number 6. Number 6, now say, if C decides to buy, I'm sorry, man, I must go and drink. My throat is very dry. I didn't make videos for long. So they assume, if C decides to buy this vehicle at the listed final balloon payment, how much must he save per month at 9% per annum compounded monthly to have that balloon amount available when needed? Assume that C will make the first monthly deposit on the same day when the first installment is due, and the last one when the balloon payment is due. Okay, so I need to know, C want to save money for the balloon payment. So let's look at how much is the balloon payment. So I press equal to, go and find the balloon payment somewhere, there's it. And next to it, I write down balloon. Then the interest, now I'm going to save money. Remember, when you save money, the interest rate is much lower. When you borrow money, the interest rate is much higher. So it's usually higher than the prime rate, and when you save money, the interest rate is usually lower than the prime rate. So in this case, 9%. And that's your interest. Now, it's just going to start when the first payment deposit is required, the payment is required, and the last one when the balloon payment is required, which means it's going to be for 6 years. It's going to be the term of the course. Okay, so I write term, and that is how long she's going to save the money. The difference is, although it's the same term, she's not going to borrow the money, she's going to save the money for the balloon payment when the balloon payment is due. So what is the point then of buying the car then out on a balloon payment if you're going to save for the balloon payment? The point is, when you save money for the balloon payment, it's voluntary. That means if you need the money for anything else, then the money will be available because it's a voluntary decision. In other words, you decide. You can even go and borrow the money that you save, and you're going to buy yourself whatever you need. But if you buy the car without balloon payment, that amount you pay is the amount that's required. You cannot tell the bank now, can I now pay less next month? The bank is going to allow you, but the bank is going to charge you a much higher interest rate if you now don't keep your promise as you agreed on at the beginning. So rather have a savings account, save for the balloon payment. So if nothing happens and you can manage to save for that 6 years, then at the end of the 6 years, you will have the money ready for the balloon amount. And then you just take the money out of a savings account and give it to the bank. And then the balloon payment is paid. And the nice thing of this thing, it is voluntary. In other words, you decide on it. So that's a method you can use to still buy your car on a balloon payment, but still prepare for the balloon payment when it's needed. So what is the question? How much? The question is, how much must he save per month? So the name of the function is PMT. The rate is 9%. And remember, in South Africa, compounded monthly. Comma. Number of periods, you're not going to do it 6 years. You're going to do it 6 times 12. Comma. Then you're going to save for the balloon payment. And remember, you don't save for the beginning. You save for the future. So your beginning value, PV, is going to be 0. Because you opened the account, meaning there was nothing in the account. Comma. And now the end value is the balloon payment. That's what you want to be in that account. So press enter. That means she must pay every month 2,448 rand and 24 cents to get 232,600 after 6 years. And then she take the money and put it in the account where it belongs, and then the car belongs to her. Finished, paid. Number 7. Let's find out the time. Wow, the time is now past 7. Let me finish this part, number 7, and then I'm going to take a break, and let's see if I can finalize the video so that I can upload this part of the video still tonight. And tomorrow, God willing, I can do the interest. Number 7. Assume that she has settled the debt and that she chose the 0 rand balloon payment. Where is the 0 rand balloon payment? It's number 2. Okay? So, assume that she decided to continue with the same amount that she had to pay, that 10,000 and something, But she will not pay it to the bank where she borrowed the money. She rather pay it to the bank where she's going to have a savings account. So it's not going to be an effort for her because she already paid it for 6 years. So she's just going to continue for another 6 years. Okay? So I'm going to copy question 2 and put it next to question 7. Okay? I'm going to do nothing with it, but the important thing is that's 10,000. Now she's going to continue with that amount. That amount will give her 9% interest. So that's the downside of saving. When you save, your interest rate is lower. Okay? She's going to keep the car for 10 years. 10 years, keep. So let's call it kept. But she didn't pay for 10 years. She paid for 6 years. Okay? So that's the number of years she paid. That means the difference between the two is the number of years she's going to save. So she kept it for 10 years. She paid for 6 years, meaning she saved it the money for 4 years. That's safe. Okay. Now that's in a savings account. So during the 6 years, that was in the account for the money that she borrowed. But for the 4 years, it was in the savings account. Now the question is how much will be in the account when she has the Tiger for 10 years. So which means we want a future value. The rate is not 13%, it's 9% because we are busy with now the savings account. Divide by 12, comma. The number of periods is now 4 years because we're talking about the savings. But it's for 12 months a year. 12 months per year, comma. And your PMT is the amount that you had to save every month. So you had to save 10,730. Not have to, but that she decided to continue with the same monthly installment, but rather put it in a savings account. And let's look at how much will she have. She will now have 617,464 after 4 years of saving. Will that money be enough to buy a new Ford Tiger? It doesn't look like it. Because that's the price of the car at the beginning. But now it's 10 years later. Remember, it's 10 years later. Although she saved it for 4 years, it's still 10 years later. And now, 10 years later, she has a savings amount of 617,000. Will that money be enough? I doubt it. Let's quickly do a calculation. Let's assume that the car appreciates by 5% every year. I want now to find out what will the value of the car be. So if I take every 5% and I say 10 years later, remember it's now 10 years later because I have a car now for 10 years, and I want to know what is the value of the car. So there's no PMT because I just want to find the value. I want the answer to be positive, so I'm going to make the beginning value negative. So I'm going to click on now the beginning value. There's the beginning value. I want to find out, just because of the interest rate, what is the expected value of this car after 10 years. I want to see whether that 600 and something will be enough to pay cash for this car. Let me press enter, and the money will not be enough. Maybe she must save a little bit longer. Maybe she must save a little bit longer. Okay? Let's assume she kept the car for 15 years. Okay? So I'm going to just quickly change that to 15. Okay? And if you look at it, wow, it looks like it can work. Because if she kept the car for 15 years, then it means she's going to save for 9 years. And then the value of the car after 15 years will be 1,208,000. That's the value of the car. But the savings will be 1,776,000. Can you see? If she just keep the car for longer. So let's make it 14, just bring it down. 14. It's still more money. Let's look at 13. It's still more money. Did you see what I'm saying? What I'm saying here is the longer I keep the car, the more money I will have to pay cash for the new car, given that the value of the car appreciate, the price of the new car appreciate by 5%. Remember, we're talking about the price of the car, not the value of the car. Let's bring it down to 12. Now it's less. You can see there. Now it's less. So less money available than the price of the car. So 12 is not enough. Um, so 15 look like a good idea, but then we don't want to drag out the existence of a car when the car is already problematic, because we're not even thinking about maintenance and service. That's also something we need to consider. And maybe the car by that time may be heavy on fuel and problematic and start problems and these things. But some cars can last for long. Really. Some cars can last for long. Um, but for this case, 10 years, that means you still have to put some extra money to pay cash for the new car. But even then, you can still see the power of saving, because she saved the money that she got used to paying every month. She got used to 10,000 every month for 6 years. So she kept on paying, and then after another 4 years, that means after another 4 years after the 6 years, she already have 670,000, which can give her the opportunity to buy a car cash. Maybe not the same type of car. Maybe a cheaper car like a Tata or a Hyundai i10 or something cheaper, and buy it for cash. That means don't have to take out another loan, because you don't want your life to be based on loans only, because you have a life. You want to have some freedom also, free from debt. Let me take a break, and then the next 7 questions, if am I right? Yeah, 7 questions can be done on another day. Okay.